Close your eyes and listen closely. What do you hear? Maybe you hear street traffic. Maybe the refrigerator hum. But what if we take away all that noise? What if we put you in a total, absolute silence? You think silence is peace. You think silence is rest for the brain. In truth, complete silence is one of the most terrifying things a human can experience. Why? Because your brain cannot accept silence. Your brain has one rule. This rule is, the system must be working. The hearing system always expects sound. If there is no sound, the brain starts to panic. It thinks something is broken. To fix this breakdown, the brain plays a clever trick. It starts to create its own noise. It generates it itself. It fills the void. This is the secret of background sounds. We will show you 3 amazing reasons why your brain cannot be quiet. We will tell you how it turns silence into a hum. We will prove that what you hear in an empty room is created only inside your head. Your hearing is not just a receiver. It is a radio station that constantly searches for a signal. And if there is no signal, it starts broadcasting its own. We begin with how the brain fights the void. Mechanism 1. The silence noise. The auditory gap. Imagine you close your eyes in darkness. You see nothing, but your eye is still working. It is looking for light. The same thing happens with your ears. Your ears are always on. They are constantly waiting for sound. When you enter complete silence, your brain gets a signal. Void. It does not understand why there are no external signals. The nervous system starts to panic. The brain thinks, something must be broken. I cannot hear. The brain starts to fix this breakdown. Every person has background noise inside the nervous system. It is a very faint electrical hum. It is like static on an old TV when there is no signal. Nerve cells are constantly active. They create this quiet internal activity. When there is outside noise, music, voice, the brain ignores this internal hum. It listens to the world. But when total silence arrives, the brain plays a trick. It sharply amplifies the internal signal. It turns up the volume on its TV static. It does this to make up for the lack of outside sounds. The brain says, I must hear something. This amplified internal hum is called tinnitus. In a mild form, it is just a barely audible ringing. But even if you are healthy, in absolute silence, your brain creates this hum to keep the system active. It simply cannot accept a total lack of data. Mechanism 2. Psychoacoustic filling. We know the brain hates a void. If it cannot find a sound, it amplifies its internal hum. But what if there is a very faint, indistinguishable noise? For example, quiet wind, or the hum of an old fan. The brain cannot just say, it is just wind. It starts working as a familiar pattern detector. It tries to overlay onto this faint, vague noise what it already knows. It tries to find a familiar template in it. This is like when you look at clouds. You see the shape of a rabbit or a dragon. The cloud is just vapor, but your brain creates a familiar image out of it. With sound, the same thing happens. This is called psychoacoustic filling. The brain looks for patterns. It needs words. It needs a melody. The human ear is a machine for recognizing speech. The voice is the main key to survival and communication. So, if the brain hears something that even slightly resembles a voice, it immediately finishes the picture. It turns random fan noises into an unclear whisper. This works even with music. If you hear a quiet, vague rhythm, your brain might start playing a familiar song. This is not a real song. This is your expectation. The brain always puts meaning above truth. Mechanism 3. Adaptation and ignoring. Your brain does not just fill the void. It also deletes everything it finds boring or useless. Imagine you put on a watch. For the first minute, you feel it on your wrist. But after 5 minutes, you forget about it. You no longer feel it. Hearing works the same way. There is a constant, steady noise in your house. It might be the refrigerator. It might be the air conditioner. It might be the computer hum. The brain hears this sound, but it quickly decides this sound does not change. It is not dangerous. It brings me no benefit, and the brain deletes it. It simply cuts it out of your consciousness. This is called sensory adaptation. Your hearing apparatus continues to receive the sound, but the brain simply does not process it. This is vital for survival. If the brain did not cut out constant sounds, the noise of the refrigerator would constantly distract you. The brain is constantly doing active noise cancellation. It makes sure you hear only new sounds, only important sounds. Everything that is part of the background, it deletes. You only notice the hum when the refrigerator suddenly turns off. Only the change makes the brain bring the sound back. Conclusion: the choice to listen. The takeaway: we have seen the three main tricks your brain uses every day. It amplifies internal hum, tinnitus, when the world is too quiet. It makes up voices and music, filling, when it hears vague noise. It completely deletes constant sounds, adaptation, so you can think. Your hearing is an active editor. The brain always tries to make the world comfortable and meaningful, but to hear the truth, you must intervene. Here are 5 simple rules to train your hearing. They will help you hear real sounds, not the ones your brain creates. Rule 1. Search for the zero sound. Try to find the quietest place. Sit down. Close your eyes. Listen. In absolute silence, you will hear the internal hum, the noise of your own brain. Understanding that this noise is internal, not external, helps you control it. Rule 2. Forced reset. Try to suddenly focus your consciousness on the sound of the air conditioner or the refrigerator. You know it is humming. Focus on it for 10 seconds. Pull it out of the background. This turns off the adaptation mode and gives you temporary control. Rule 3. Check the whisper. If you hear an indistinct whisper or knock, do not make assumptions. Instead of asking, "What word is that?" ask, "Is this actually a word or just random noise?" This forces the brain to stop looking for familiar patterns. Rule 4. New listening. Every time you enter a new room, stop for a second. Do not look, listen. Try to record all the background sounds in your memory. This trains your hearing to perceive everything, not just changes. Rule 5. Admit you are hearing a lie. Understand that your brain is an active participant. Do not believe that you just hear. You hear an interpretation. When you admit this, you take back the right to choose. Your brain will always create background noise, but now you can decide whether you will listen to its made-up stories or focus on the real world. If you want to see and hear more truth, if you want to learn about the other tricks of your brain, subscribe to this channel. Hit the bell icon. We will see the world together.